I had a colleague stop me in the hallway the other day and she asked a simple question. What did you do to get your students to write stronger responses? Now, I could have gone into a long explanation and tapped into theory, but we didn't have time for all of that. She simply asked what to do in that moment, and I gave her a simple response by offering three strategies. 1 week later, she came back and she said one of the strategies worked wonders. It helped her to pivot during the lesson, meeting her students where they were and giving them exactly what they needed. So let's talk about it. So, in my previous video that talks about learning how to pivot, I talked about how knowing when to pivot during instruction is a skill. It's not something that you randomly do. It should not feel chaotic. And it has nothing to do with you completely abandoning your previously planned lesson. It is simply the ability to recognize when your students need something different than what's already scripted and responding strategically. That pivot is what helps you to be able to respond to your actual students' needs, maintain instructional momentum, and build mastery as a teacher. Well, recently, my expertise was put to the test, and here's how I responded. So, just for a little bit of background knowledge, I taught first grade for 9 years, and at the end of last year, I was asked to move up to second grade. So the colleague who asked this question actually took over my first grade role. So she asked me, what did I do to support the learners with written responses and writing comprehension? And I understood exactly what she was asking and why. In my opinion, the curriculum that we use makes a lot of assumptions about what students should already know and be able to do. But writing structure and writing comprehension, it's not explicitly taught. And that is where your teacher toolbox comes into play. That's where research based strategies matter. Because when the curriculum assumes, you have to scaffold. So I gave her three quick strategies that I've used over the years to help bridge the learning gap. Notice I said suggestions, not mandates, not this is the only way, and definitely not this is what you should be doing. Strategy number one, provide a sentence frame for students to complete. This helps to build correct sentence structure. So if a student is asked, why did the character feel that way? And you're getting responses like, she was upset. You give them, the character felt blank because blank. Now they're practicing complete thoughts, incorporating text evidence, and it lowers the cognitive load. And over time, you remove the frame. That's a gradual release. Strategy number two, draw, label, write. This one is really powerful, especially for K2 students and maybe some lower third grade writers as well. Drawing before writing acts as a brain dump. When students are given structure, it helps them to focus on specific topics. So, for instance, if you ask your students to retell what happens at the beginning of a story and they don't quite have the writing capability to do that, you start by simply asking them to draw what they know, which will be step one. Step two, you ask them to extend their drawing with more details, which kind of acts as the tell me more phrase, right? And then that leads us to step number three, where they label the pictures. Those labels, that becomes their vocabulary word bank. So when it's time for them to write, they're not starting with a blank page. They already have ideas, details, and the words needed. We often skip this step because we think of drawing as babyish, right? But drawing is thinking, it's pre writing. And for struggling writers, it is that bridge that they need. Strategy number three. The colleague that I spoke of at the start of the video, this is the strategy she came back raving about. I tell my students all the time, if you can speak it, you can write it. Before they ever touch the pencil, they say their response out loud. They may say it to me, or they may think, pair, share, and share it with a neighbor. But here's the added layer of support. As they speak, I hold up a finger for each word they say. So if they were to say, the dog ran fast, I'm holding up four fingers. Then we draw four lines on their paper. Now they have a visual guide. I need to write four words. It builds word awareness, sentence structure, accountability, and confidence. It turns abstract expectations into something concrete. And for so many students, that small scaffold makes all the difference. Now, here is the important part. I didn't say, here, go do this. I did not prescribe anything because I don't know her teaching style. She knows her students the best, and strategies are only powerful when it is aligned with the teacher who's actually using it. That's something we don't talk about enough. A strategy can be research based, proven, and it can also be effective. But if it doesn't fit the teacher, it won't be implemented with confidence, and confidence is key. A week later, she told me that the oral response strategy worked beautifully. And I was not surprised because students sometimes don't have a writing problem, they have a processing gap. They have a language to print bridge that has not been built yet, and that is where the pivot lives. If you are feeling stuck in your instruction, ask yourself, where might a small pivot make a big shift? Because often the answer isn't more curriculum, it's better scaffolding, and that is the art of the pivot. I share this with you because teaching mastery isn't about knowing everything. It's about having strategies in your toolkit, recognizing when something isn't working, offering support without ego, and pivoting with intention. And sometimes the most powerful shifts are simple. They're not flashy, they're not viral TikTok posts, they're just responsive. If this resonates with you, let me know in the comments. Based off of your teaching style, you knowing what's best for your students, which of these three strategies would you try first? And if you want more practical, reflective strategies to strengthen your instruction without burning out, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, reflect for clarity and teach with intention. Thank you for watching.